Hello, everybody. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Bryan.
And this is Bryan versus Bryan, episode 129, The Last of Us, or What's the Deal with the Cordyceps? All right, The Last of Us. No, not the game, which we did for our first episode.
You
Silly.
did, yeah.
It's the show. You know, it was inevitable. We talk about the game on the YouTube and it gets enough buzz going that they get a television show.
Mm-hmm.
On,
You're welcome, everybody.
Yeah. On TBS. Wait, there's HBO. Yeah, it's HBO.
Fucking TBS.
Premiered last Sunday. I don't know what date last Sunday is. Don't get me involved with numbers. January 15th. The largest television production in Canadian history. It's impressive. Filmed in Alberta from July 21 to June 22. First HBO series based on a video game. And as a joint production by Sony Pictures Television, PlayStation Productions, Naughty Dog, The Mighty Mint, and Word Games. That's a lot of people. Most of those are just Sony. There's different names. Well, or Sony Productions. Well, we're Sony PlayStation Entertainment.
Yeah.
So, 9 episodes written by Druckmann, who wrote and co-directed the original game. Amazing. I like how I was looking, the other guy who co-made the game isn't credited in this show at all, which is pretty fucked up. I was reading an article by him. It's like, yeah, I helped create the show, or the video game. You can't even just cite that in the show.
Yeah.
Like based on characters developed by blah, blah. So I thought that was pretty messed up. So what I think it was a 99% on Meta right now.
Metacritic?
Something. Or whatever the fuck, the one that gives a percent. Is that Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, I think they both do. Hold on, I'll look at both. But it's pretty high on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Second biggest, premiere for HBO in 10 years since 2010. Over 10 million. So the only thing premiered bigger than this in the last 10 years is the House of Dragons. Pretty impressive, man, for a video game show. I imagine a lot of these people don't even know about the game. Maybe. Because I don't see a video game show, just the video game crowd being like, ooh, getting those kind of numbers. You got to have some outside people that just saw the trailer and were like, that looks interesting.
Yeah, so to elaborate on the percentages, Rotten Tomatoes right now is a 99 with
Damn!
129 critic reviews. So out of the 129, 99% positive, and then Metacritic is at 84 with 40 critic reviews. So that's pretty good. And the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is 95. So
yeah, the show must be good. I mean, this first episode didn't blow me away. I mean, I liked it a lot. It seemed very accurate, but I wasn't like, oh, this is a fucking amazing masterpiece. You know what I mean? 99%. But it's the first episode. It's covering things that aren't, too crazy or too cool, even. You got to start somewhere. This first episode throws you into a fucking bloater encounter or some shit.
yeah. Yeah.
So I imagine the show gets really good because based on the first episode, I'm like, well, this isn't a 99, but apparently it gets there. So let's find out. I can't wait. Pedro Pascal, goddamn, bro, really? I can't believe they cast him. Everything, man, every damn thing he's in.
Yeah,
every damn
killing
television show. Oh my god. And I'm surprised he wasn't fucking Master Chief, dude. That wouldn't even surprise me.
That would have been awesome.
It would have been a lot better, I'm sure. But I heard he's like, where did I see? Allegedly getting $600,000 per episode.
Ooh.
Making him the highest paid American television star.
Damn.
It's like, and for shit for like Mandalorian when it could have been anybody. You know what I mean? He just barely takes his helmet off. He's like, it's me.
Just his voice, yeah.
Yeah. Um, I was really disappointed at first with the casting of Pedro.
Hmm.
I was like, I don't know, man, changing the race. He's like Chilean. Um, I was like, they're changing the race, or he doesn't really have the look, I guess. Uh, but man, I was pleasantly surprised. I think
Yeah.
Pedro is the best part of this show so far. Is that I love his Joel in comparison to the other characters, comparing them to the video games, and like, who is that close? Do I like that version? I think
Hmm.
this version of Joel is my favorite of the television versions of the characters.
Yeah, I agree. I wasn't necessarily concerned. I was like, because I know Pedro Pascal's a great actor, so I knew that he was going to bring something to it. But yeah, the moment you see him walk into that kitchen in the beginning, I'm like, yeah, that's Joel. The moment he starts opening his mouth and communicating with his daughter, I was like, yeah, he's got it. Even Tommy, which I also think is obviously if Pedro is the way he is, his brother's going to be, Hispanic in some way. And I even think Tommy, the actor who played Tommy, was really good too. I'm like, damn, all these guys are doing really good, adaptations of these characters.
Yeah, the Terminator.
Yeah.
That's all I know him from.
Oh, was he
did
in
like
the
a-
Dark Fate one?
yeah, he was the main like scary Terminator.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, he was pretty good. Um, the only character that returned and actually played their character, which I didn't know till I read about it, was Marlene.
Yeah, I didn't know that either till
That's
till
pretty
last night.
interesting.
Yeah.
Talking to the people, they're like, well, nobody could really play the character they played because everyone's old, gotten too old,
Hmm.
or they don't look anything like their character. Like Troy looks nothing like Joel,
Yeah.
and he's like, the only one that could play it was I forget the actress's name, but Marlene, because she had finally like reached an age where she was somewhat on par with the character. I guess she was pretty young when she's because this is like 2013 when they did it.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. That's pretty cool that she got to do that.
Yeah. And she did a really good job too. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked her. Um, Another thing I was worried about was Ellie.
That was
I
my
think
biggest
everybody-
concern was Ellie.
I think
definitely.
everybody kind of was with this
Yeah.
this girl from Game of Thrones, Bella Ramsey.
Not that she was bad. Like she's fucking. She's like one of the best characters in Game of Thrones. She's like a fan favorite of that show.
Yeah.
So it's not even Bella Ramsey. It's the fact that, at least for me, like she doesn't look like Ellie, and there's like a problem there, like visually, like when she was announced, like that doesn't even look like Ellie. So I was like, all right, well, if you don't look like Ellie, you better fucking bring your acting chops and give the personality of Ellie, because yeah, you don't really look like her.
Uh, f- yeah, and so quickly the first episode goes through the beginning, which is the beginning of the game, which is a flashback, and it goes through all that stuff. And then it comes to showing a little bit about Joel and what the heck is his girlfriend's name?
Oh, Tess.
Tess.
Yeah.
A little bit of their day-to-day life in the quarantine zone, meeting Marlene, receiving Ellie, finally leaving the quarantine zone. That's all episode 1.
Hmm.
Just right outside the gate. Boom, over. But yeah, Ellie, the first time we introduce her, you get an interesting, one of the few things where it differs from the game. Or I guess it doesn't differ, but just the game didn't go into as much. I guess the game kind of talks about it in a little snippet, a file you can find or something, one of those stupid things. Read this and get a little more info. I'm not reading shit. I'm here to play.
Yeah.
If I wanted to read, I'd grab a goddamn book. Okay? Now, who do I fucking stab? Anyway, so it goes into like, you think Ellie and Marlene in the game like have known each other, they're together, and she kind of is protective of her, but they have her like chained up in a room, and they're testing her every day about being a zombie because they know she has that weird bite thing on her arm.
Hmm.
And I guess she's been there for like weeks, until they finally realize, okay, fuck, she's not gonna change. Maybe we should unchain her a little bit, feed her, I don't know. So I thought that was really cool. More background. And Druckmann was like, how can we introduce Ellie sooner? Get her into the show sooner than she is in the game. How did you feel about that? I thought that was really cool insight into their dynamic before you see him in the game.
Yeah, so this is actually my biggest problem with the episode. Not the reveal of Ellie coming in. I think that's totally fine. I think that Dude, her first moment I thought was so great. Like she just stands up and like fully kicks this food tray across the room. I don't know, just like her introduction is fantastic. My problem with that whole section of the show is that you give away one of the biggest moments of the game early on, which is that Ellie is immune to the infection. And I think that's kind of a disservice to the show because in the game you actually don't know that. Like the first time you see Ellie on screen in the game is when Marlene's like, "Hey, I need you to smuggle this girl out," and you don't know why. You don't know why she's important until after they get out of the quarantine zone. And like the same scene in the show happens in the game where they get caught by a guard and he's testing all of them, and then they get into a little scuffle. And then there's like this big moment of like, "Oh shit! Like this girl is immune, and we're like taking her to the Fireflies." But in the show, they give that away really early, and I thought that was kind of I don't know, like why wouldn't you hold on to that reveal later on? Like why would you just give it away
Yeah, but
really like that? Like that's a pretty big moment.
I get it. But in the different mediums in the game, you're Joel,
Yeah.
right? So the secret is from you. But in the show, we're the audience, and we're watching Joel. So I think it's okay for us to know the secret and it be revealed to him. That's just the way I look at it. Because in a video game, you got to hold that, obviously, because that's But in the show, I feel like we can know, and we're all, oh, how's he going to find? But he does find out, like before the end of the first episode, though, doesn't he? I mean, she gets scanned, and she kind of explains it to him. So already,
but we already again like, but I'm thinking of somebody who doesn't play the game. Already knowing that information before it happens is kind of like, why wouldn't you just like? I don't mind her being chained up and having the conversation with Marlene, but just hold that in, like, because she even asked, like, am I like there's little little mysteries of like, hey, am I safe now or am I what? But if you just got rid of that dialogue and you don't really know why she's chained up, I think that would have it would have been a bigger moment in the show when that reveal happens at the end of the episode. We're like, oh shit, that's the reason why she's special is because she's immune. But when you give it away so early, for somebody who's never played the game, it's like, oh, well, you kind of just ruined the big kind of reveal at the end. Like that crescendo is at the end of the episode, so they try to make it a big deal, but it's not really a big deal because you already ruined it earlier on in the episode. But I don't know, it's just a small gripe. It's not like it's it's a shitty show because of it, but it's like, why would you fucking?
Is that why you got a 99
so early? Hold on to your cards. Hold on to your cards and play them later.
Yeah, I wasn't concerned at all with that. I didn't even think about that until you brought it up. I actually liked it because I guess as a perspective of someone who's already played the game, getting a little more insight into how and why they know she's immune. So the beginning was really cool. I was like, man, are they going to start it like the game, just like immediately go into flashback? They kind of did. It starts with a TV show, like a 60s,
69,
TV show. And the host was so familiar. What the fuck is that guy from?
Oh man, I was like, yes, it's the Mummy guy. It's the comic relief from the Mummy. The Rachel Weisz's brother. He's like kind of quirky little guy he runs around with Brendan Fraser a lot in the Mummy trilogy.
No way, the host was?
Oh, sorry, I don't know about the host. Sorry, the scientist guy who goes on about the fungus was
that's not it. The host has been in something recent. I was like, fuck, I can't place him.
Oh, someone said I've never seen the show, but someone said when they saw that intro, they couldn't take him seriously because he's in Silicon Valley. I've never seen Silicon Valley, but
I've never seen that either. So obviously he's been in a lot of stuff. But yeah, this guy interviewing these two guys, and one guy's talking about germs and a pandemic and how it's going to end the world, and that's what we should be worried about. But then the other guy's like, no, I'm not worried about that at all. What I'm actually worried about is fungi. And he's like, okay, well, that's the show. And he's just joking. And he's like, no, but a fungi can infect the brain and take over your body, make like you become someone else. Yeah. Where do you get LSD? I like the host. Where do you get LSD? It comes from fungi. So does psilocybin. And he goes into this story. There's this certain fungi that infects ants, takes over their brain, starts to replace their flesh. It doesn't let them die. Keeps just enough flesh alive to make them an undead host. And he's going on and on about that. And then the other scientist is like, yes, I agree. That's pretty dangerous too. And so that's kind of cool. It's almost like a Manhattan Project type of thing, talking about the dangers of stuff. Then we go to the flashback. So I think it says 2003, which
Yeah,
is interesting,
2003.
which makes The Last of Us now instead of 2013,
Mm-hmm.
it's 2023 modern day. When I
Yeah,
guess in the game it would have been 2013 when it made, and then that would make it to 1993. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
it's
it's 20 years later, right? Yeah, in the game.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
so the
now it's
90s.
moved up. That's interesting. It's kind of cool to make it modern now.
Yeah.
So now it's 2023, it's 20 years ago, and we got Sarah and all that. Sarah is they're race swapping everybody around here. She's a black or African American descent now. I thought I was gonna care more because it's like, man, I have such an image of Sarah. She's just like this little white girl. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I thought this girl played Sarah really well.
Yeah, she was
Had the
awesome.
had the characterization down, uh, really good. And it's crazy how much they really cared about giving us certain shots and certain imagery that is exactly from the game.
Hmm.
No one has done this before. They don't give a fuck, dude. Uncharted. Oh, he has a mustache. I'm not gonna give him a mustache. Why?
Yeah.
Why not? Why the fuck not? How hard is it to grow a mustache and have it on film? Oh
Yeah.
God! Well, we'll tease the mustache for the sequel. Maybe you'll get it then. It's like, are you fucking stupid? Like, we want some shit from the game, but you'll give us the jumping, flying through the plane parts.
Yeah.
Can't do a mustache. Do a $4 million sequence. uh, yeah, but little things I didn't even notice the first time I had to look at stuff online. But she's wearing the same exact shirt from the intro of the video game. She's got like the same necklace. A lot of the shit is the same, dude. And you see these side by sides, like, God dang, it's like scene for scene the same. Really cool. Um, so yeah, it does the stuff. It's a slightly different thing, where she fixes his watch for his birthday. Or
Hmm.
doesn't she buy him a watch in the game? I don't think she fixes it. I thought she just bought him a watch.
I think she did buy him a watch, so they may have changed that a little bit.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
changed it a little bit. Um, and she steals the money. You kind of start to think, oh, Sarah's not as nice as we thought. I was like, where are they going with this? They're trying to make her like a thief now. She's like going through
Yeah.
his drawers and taking money, but she just takes enough money to fix his watch and puts it
Hmm.
back. Because I'm an honest thief. And it's got that same line. Where'd you get the money to do this? She's like, drugs. I sell hardcore drugs. That was cool.
Yeah, the whole
Um,
sequence is basically in the game too. Them on the couch, he gets home from
Yeah.
work, and yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking close, all of it. It's not much that deviates. Um, what I this fan theory, tell me if you've heard about this. I think it's going to be true, and I think somebody came up with it. It's a fucking genius. You got to look, you got to read between the lines on all this shit.
Hmm.
But I hear they might cover this in episode 2, like where the cordyceps virus came from and how it originated. But in the show, travel with me now. This is going to blow your mind. Remember they hear on the radio something about Jakar, right?
Mhm.
It's starting in Jakar,
Right.
and there's something going on in Jakar, and they're like, "Where's Jakar? And is that in China?" She's like, "It's not in China. It's like whatever part of Indonesia." I don't remember what she says, but and then when she's getting the watch fixed, it's kind of like a certain descent of the shopkeeper.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
his
then
wife comes in and is like,
the
yeah,
wife
yeah.
comes in and says, "Kind of lock up."
Hmm.
There's a theory that maybe she has a connection back to Jakar and knows something about the origins and what's going on. That's because no one's doing that. They're not that concerned yet in the U.S. But then there's other parts. Um, Jakar, I guess, is home to the biggest like flour mill in the world, and they think it started in flour in this. And if you noticed in the beginning, they didn't have any flour to make pancakes, so they missed out on the pancakes.
Mhm.
He's supposed to bring a cake home. He does not, so they avoid flour in the cake. They're offered biscuits by the neighbors. They decline those biscuits, but they're feeding those biscuits to the,
Old lady. Yeah.
the like invalid lady who can't move, who later becomes our first host. And then when she's making cookies at their house, she offers her a cookie, but she declines it because of raisin. So all this it's like there's a lot of flour declinal.
Yeah.
And Jakar, I'm like, dude, that's a good theory. I'm thinking that's exactly how it started. It's a flour whatever infection.
That's interesting because when you line them up like that, it sounds intentional, right? I mean,
It's way too much to be not
It,
intentional, right?
what's that?
I said it's way too much to be not intentional. It's like
Yeah,
all
yeah.
these. Why are
And it's like it's so subtle that we as an audience aren't like, there's 4 times where they don't eat flour. Like it's so subtle that I think it could work. It's so crazy it might work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't pick up any of that.
Yeah, of course, it's
Yeah.
too subtle.
Yeah.
And then so it's like, who the fuck came up with this? I watched the episode 3 fucking times already, and I wouldn't have picked that up on my own, dude. I love it, dude, when she's in there cooking the cookies and she's like looking at the DVDs, Sarah.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
the old lady who's never moved, they have to like lift her lips and put shit in her mouth to feed her. She's sitting there, and then all of a sudden you see her and it's blurred, of course. You get
Yeah.
the patented. She's in focus. The lady's blurred in the back, and you see her just.
It's so creepy, man.
I was
So
like,
creepy.
"Oh, shit, dude, this is some Conjuring shit."
Yeah.
Yeah, and then another difference is, I think it's different. I don't remember this. Later on, Joel had to leave the house because his brother called and said he's in jail.
Mm-hmm.
That's not game related. I don't remember anything like that. Do you?
Yeah, I don't remember why Joel, because
I don't even think they explained it in the game.
yeah, because she wakes up in the middle of the night and you're playing as Sarah in the game and you can't find Joel. You're like walking around the house. Joel, and I think the neighbor like crashes through the sliding glass door,
Yeah.
like runs into their house, and I think Joel at that point intervenes, and shoots him.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't use that scene. That's a great fucking scene.
Oh yeah, I wanted to see that. I was disappointed in that.
Yeah.
Like they kind of replaced it with the old lady and the. I was like, which is not as cool.
Yeah.
Like seriously, you could do the old lady stuff too, but then have the older man who was the caregiver come through the fucking windows.
Yeah. It's like, oh my god, it's terrifying.
Yeah, and then they do some interesting stuff when she can't find him, and she goes, "Oh yeah, the neighbor's dog comes over and starts fucking." And then this dumbass Sarah, "We'll bring you back." The dog's like, "No, God, no!"
Runs off.
Like trying to get away. Oh no. And then she goes in there. Oh, the door's open. That's peculiar.
Yeah.
Hello. Anyone murdered in here? And she goes in there and she sees the older man who's like the caregiver. He's like propped up, is all bloody, and he's like he looks over with his eyes, like, look at that. It's like she's over there doing things, and the old lady's like eating his wife, and she lifts up in a patented Resident Evil 2 fucking
so cool.
And then that's not in the game either. There's like these tendrils in their mouth that like infect you, and I guess go down to the fucking cordyceps in you. That was kind of interesting. I like that. So it's not just a physical human bite. It's got something going on. It's got the things coming into you. All right, I'll give it to you. That's cool. You can add a little something there.
Yeah, they kind of got rid of the whole airborne thing, because I think in The Last of Us, it's airborne. Like, there's steals with like spores. Like, there's even a sequence in the show where they go down, Joel and Tess go underground, and they see some guy that's like on the wall. I'm like, dude, they would have been fucking dead in the video game. Like, they have to wear masks a lot in the video game. So they kind of got rid of the airborne stuff. It's just now fungi.
I think they'll get to that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I've seen something where they're wearing masks, some imagery. But obviously not as prevalent as it used to be.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I did like that tentacle thing. I was not expecting that, because like you see it in her mouth over the neck, and you just think of like zombie shit. Like she'll pull up and maybe skin or blood dripping out, but it's just like these fucking weird tentacle shit. I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And then we get some awesome like scene for scene shit running. Joel pulls up in the truck. Get in the truck.
Yeah.
And some neighbor, Joel, what's going on? Get in your house, goddammit, lock the doors. And 2 zombies come by, and then he like runs one of them over. And then I like how the neighbor's like, Joel, what have you done? He goes to help the zombie. Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then you get some patent, like scene for scene shit, the truck shit. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the truck
running through the body. Back it up. I can't, Joel. There's people. Do it, Tommy.
Yeah.
And then the difference is the way the truck crashes is different.
Right.
like an
Yeah, they
airplane
subvert your
crashes.
expectation on that one. I was like, oh, I'm
I
waiting for
don't.
that, and then the truck swerves. I'm like, oh, all right, I see you.
Yeah, the truck hits him in the game, and this one I don't even understand how they crash because a plane wrecks near him and a part flies through the window,
Yeah,
but it doesn't. I don't see how it would like flip your fucking truck. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I don't quite understand that, but whatever. Uh, and then they wake up, and then it's the 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 regular old, Tommy's on one side, we're on the other. What are we gonna do?
Oh yeah, video
It's like,
game moment. Yeah,
yeah, nothing but a hallway, and then the truck perfectly lines up, and now it's on fire, so you can't get around it. What are we gonna do? I'll meet you there. Don't worry about me.
I'll meet you at the river. All right. Now this is the time where I play Joel. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if they're gonna have some cool like third person view, like Doom, the movie.
The movie.
Like
Yeah.
maybe he's going out later on, or he's somewhere, and you'll get that over the shoulder. That'd be kind of cool. I hope we get a couple seconds.
Well, Neil Druckmann apparently is directing episode 2, so maybe we'll get some video gamey camera angles.
Yeah. So then they break up, and then they see the zombies like in a hall. What is it like a?
It's like an alleyway or something.
Yeah, it's like an alley, and there's a bunch of them eating, and the one of them just kind of looks up, and you get that nice creepy. And then you start to realize how different these zombies are than most. That like when they're first infected, they're on it, dude. They're running. Yeah. And it reminds me like when the grandma, when she ran to the house, the first zombie we see. I don't remember what happened. Like she hit something, like she falls. Like I didn't see anything. It's almost like she hits an invisible wire. If somebody like put a wire in the door frame, she's like, oh, and then falls. I was like, why did she fall? I didn't get it.
I have to rewatch that. I don't remember.
I had no idea what was going on. But anyways. This guy gets up and chases him through like a bar type situation, and he's just like jumping over shit and fucking. They're very agile. Then finally he gets stopped by like an army guy, and we get that scene just like in the game. Now, what should I do with them? One of them's injured. I think in the video game he says one of them's a kid.
Yeah.
I think he relays that information to home base, which makes it even more sinister.
Yeah.
This time he just says one of them's injured. So it's not as bad, I guess. They didn't know. We didn't know. So he gets the word on the radio that now we know, saying to kill him. And he's like, what? Okay. You sure? Maybe I should mention one of them's a kid.
That's important information before I murder these two people.
Does it change anything that the injured one's a female and a kid?
And black?
No? Okay. Wait, she's black? Stop! We don't need another fucking court case, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then he's like, Joel kind of, I'm sorry, Joel, we're not sick! I didn't see a hill. They're about to shoot him. Like, where's the hill he's supposed to roll down? And then he shoots at him. Oh, there it is. And then he goes down there. He's going to finish off Joel, and Tommy bucks his little dome in. Badoosh! Get some. How you doing, Joel?
Made it to the river, bro.
You made it. And then they're trying to. And then they realize Sarah's been hit, and so they're. He's grabbing her. You get that emotional moment. Some people say it's even more emotional than the game. I don't know. It's on par with it.
They're pretty even. Yeah, they're both tear jerkers.
Yeah, I don't know if it's more. This Sarah does seem a little older to me.
Mm-hmm.
Does she? She feels older.
Yeah, she feels a little older.
The other Sarah seemed younger, so it kind of hit more. Not that a kid dying at any age is okay, but the younger, the worse it is. Like, she's almost seems to me like 13, 14, which puts her in line with Ellie, and maybe so they're trying to do something with it,
mm-hmm.
giving him that
father-daughter
for
shit.
Ellie.
Yeah.
But I feel like she was more like 10 in the game is kind of the vibe I was getting. But anyways, he's holding her, and he's like, there's some pretty emotional stuff. Tommy, you got to help me. Joel, like he's calling the death before it happens. Like he doesn't help at all. He's just like, she's dead, man. Well, she's not dead yet. She's gonna. So And then yeah, she dies, and
Which is kind of a cool, or I mean, not cool. This scene is not cool at all. But to go back a little bit, you get it's cool because you get just one shot and you understand how Joel and Tommy are kind of the way they are, which is that there's like a military bumper sticker on Tommy's truck, meaning that they have some sort of military background. So it's like when Tommy's looking down at Sarah, he just knows, I'm assuming just from his experience in being in combat, of like, yeah, she's not gonna make it, because I've seen people be. The assumption is that he's seen people fucking die and shot in combat and military. So it is kind of this awful moment, and like the whole scene. I mean, both of those scenes are really tough and emotional. I think the show goes a little harder in the paint. Like the whole like I'm gonna get you up, honey. I know it hurts. I know it's gonna hurt. I know it's gonna hurt. It's okay. And she's like she's like wailing like that. I don't think that's in the game. Like him calling her baby over and over again, I don't think is in the game. So it's like, ooh, there's some extra spice on this scene, as it were, emotional spice, that makes it fucking hard to watch. But yeah, both of those, woo, ready to cry.
You got Druckmann over there.
But yeah, great scene. And it's almost verbatim from the game, beat by beat. The soldier shooting them, rolling down the hill, Tommy showing up and shooting the guy in the head. It's all there.
Then we get to the quarantine zone 20 years later. Then we get a little more background than we did in the game. That like, what are they doing? We know there's smugglers in the game. It doesn't really go into much other than that. Like, what's their day-to-day lives in the quarantine zone? You know. So now we find out. So they just do odd jobs. There's like little odd jobs. You go try and get one. They give you a fucking piece of paper with a stamp on it. See back here at 4 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
For more hard labor.
And currency is like this colored money with little numbers and
like ration cards.
Yeah, ration cards.
Like how many rations they're worth. So we see Joel. His job, as we reach him, is throwing dead bodies into the fire and burning them. And then there's a scene earlier where a kid. Did you think this is a little girl or a boy? I thought it was a little girl. Jesse said it's obviously a boy, and
I thought it was a little girl. To be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
Thought it was a girl.
I actually stupidly thought that like this was young Ellie coming to the quarantine zone, like almost like a prequel type of like this is what. And I was like, well, they wouldn't do that because she looks kind of similar, but not really. And also your introduction to this random kid, because the hard cut's 20 years later, and the kid's the first thing you see.
With his cool green DC shoes they keep showing over and over. Like, why are they showing the shoes? So like they're so important. They're important because you're going to be able to use them to identify the body later.
Yeah.
So she or he, I have no idea. It's just a little kid. Could be either. It's got long hair. It's kind of ball cap and stuff. I don't know. Anyways, the kid is getting questioned. And they scan him or her. And so I was a little confused. So red means you're infected?
Yes.
Green is good to go. So it said red. So they give him a shot in the arm. Everything's going to be fine. You're safe now. And then we see Joel loading bodies. And the girl he's loading bodies with is, I can't do this. You got to do this one. And it's the little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And because it
the DC
shoes. Yeah. So the rumors I'm hearing is that episode 2 will go into more about the beginning of the pandemic, and it'll tell us more about this kid. Because that seems very odd. This kid just out of nowhere. Like there's more to it, I think. Like this kid has something to do with something or other. Or has some importance to show him that much, and then yeah, we'll see if episode 2 tells us anything about the DC shoes kid. Yeah, and so he's just jaded at this point. He grabs the little kid and he just gives him a nice thump into the fire. just release. This is how much I care. It's like fucking looking like Ric Flair or something, just dropping a body on the canvas. Woo! Yeah, and yeah, that was interesting. But the part that we don't know about is like, so we don't know about that day to day. Like he's doing that kind of stuff. And we also don't know about he's a drug dealer, like selling drugs and oxys and stuff, and
Yeah.
he can get oxys, but he can't get plastic bags. So he's like, I want that bag back.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good. And that officer's kind of a dick who's buying it. He's like, well, remember to stay off the streets, man. You know, we're spread pretty thin. It's easy to make a mistake out in the night streets.
Yeah.
Shoot somebody in the face. So get out of here.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. And then, anyways, some guy steals a battery from. I always forget the other one's name. Tess. Damn it, Tess. Steals a battery from Tess, like in the game. Oh, I know in the game it was guns.
It was guns. Yeah, they switched guns for battery in the show for some reason.
So in the show, he's already looking for a car. In the game, he wasn't needing a car until he found Ellie. Like, that's why he wanted a car, is to get across the country quicker. But now he wants to go find his brother.
Yeah, that wasn't in the game. Him looking for Tommy wasn't in the game, to my knowledge, yeah.
Because his brother is at this radio station. They would communicate, but he hasn't communicated in over 3 weeks, when it used to be he would never take more than a day to respond. So he's already on a mission to go find Tommy. And then this mission just happens to get piled on top of it. So they try to get the car battery. Come to find out, this guy has been selling it multiple times and trying to rip people off. And they find the meeting of Marlene and the guy with the car battery. Marlene's kind of injured. All the other guys are dead. And then we get that scene of Ellie that's right from the game, where she jumps out and tries to stab him. And it's so awesome. He just fucking racks
against the wall.
Just fucking racks her against the wall. Oh shit! I should say, she feels more like Ellie to me at any point than when she's cursing.
Yeah.
Like that, to me, felt like she channeled it. Hey, you fuckers!
Yeah.
You know, she's doing that. That felt the most Ellie to me out of anything.
8, 9, or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
She has some really good moments.
And, she tries to grab the knife, and there's some good stuff. He steps on it and just looks at her, and when he points the gun at her. Hey.
More of their scenes, man. I can't wait.
Marlene's like, hey, not her. Pointed at me. And, they explain that. I don't remember how they explain. What does she say? Ellie she just needs to go? Like,
Yeah.
what's the explanation that it's so important to get her over there? I don't remember.
I don't think they do. I think she just says, I want you to transport her to the capital, and if you do it, you get a car, you get a battery, you get whatever you want. And that's like they don't care about whether she's special or not. It's like, okay, cool, we get all the things that we're looking for.
But it's like in the game it made more sense because they really wanted those guns.
Yeah.
They needed the guns. And they'll get all the guns and more. But in this one, it's like, you'll get a car, you'll get guns. It's like, yeah, but we need all that shit to get there.
Yeah.
And then you'll get another one when you get there. It's like, we don't need it once you have, it just, to me, it was like more motivation from the game. I guess they're already on a mission in this to go get his brother. So, hey, what's another, tag along? I guess that makes sense, but it's like, hey, if you get a car and some guns together and a crew and then bring her there, I'll give you a car and some guns and a crew when you get there. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah.
Word, yeah.
Yeah, just travel across the whole fucking infected nation. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So they accept for some fucking God knows why. And they take her. Yeah, and you get that one scene where they see the infected stuck on the wall. That was pretty sweet.
That was really awesome, yeah.
And she's just like, oh. Yeah. I was like, dude, you've seen all this a lot. I feel like that was a weird reaction from you.
Well, she said it wasn't down there the last time that she was. So when she turns the flashlight,
screamed.
it was kind of like a surprise. Like, oh my God.
Which is hard to believe because that takes months and months. Because we've been explained that only happens when you've been infected a very long time. So
yeah,
especially like you'd have to be infected and stand there, and then all the fucking mushrooms start to grow onto the wall, you know. So I don't know how that would happen. And then, as we know from the game, once that start happening, you kind of turn into a spore machine. And it just, it's like, you know, fairy dust.
Mm-hmm.
Fushagis through the fucking ether, man. It's so, and then what happens?
I think it's kind of cool that they set up Bill early on with the radio stuff. With the it's like 60s as a code, 70s as a code, 80s as a code. Because in the game, I don't think they set up Bill at all.
What does 80s means trouble?
80s means trouble, yeah.
And then it starts playing a cool little 80s jam, and you're like, all right.
But I did like the little Ellie scene where she like opens the book and she's like, "Oh, this is a code, right? What's 80s mean?" And he kind of like just doesn't listen to her. And then later on, she's like, "Hey, the 80s song came on, something about wake me up before you go." And he's like, "Oh," and she's like, oh, "Okay, trouble. 80 means trouble." And he's like, "What?" So she kind of played him. Thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Then they get out. I don't remember how they get out, but they get out. Oh yeah, through the sewer, some little tunnel or something. It's very similar to the game. It's like the same exact thing as the game. Yeah, and the last scene is them. Is Tess with them in the last scene?
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember. Okay.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember. It was just them, all of them, and they're looking out, and you see the city, and it's all fucking plants, and one building's fucking collapsed into the other, just like the fucking game. It's like
awesome.
Yeah, and I guess you see a clicker on a cliff somewhere. Someone was like, "Oh, did you notice the Easter egg for the clicker?" I was like, "That's not an Easter egg. It's it's in the fucking show. It's just showing you a character in the show." But anyways, they like zoomed in on part of that, and it's like over there. I'm like, I don't even see it, dog. What are you talking about? It's there, man. It's on the balcony of the 45th floor.
Okay.
It's like, don't go there then. It's fine. God. Jesus Christ. But yeah, apparently there's a clicker. Yeah, no shit. It's gonna be a couple of them. I can't wait till we get some real.
Yeah, I can't wait for the zombie shit. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet. Oh, is he gonna keep introducing new ones until the end? So funny.
Oh, Dave.
Our buddy who played it for the first time said, "There's too fucking many of them. They keep introducing." It's like, oh, just wait. Like, wait till 2. They keep coming. It's a dog one. It's like fucking becoming like aliens. A porcupine in one.
Yep.
Yeah. So good first episode, man. Super accurate. I'm glad that this is good. Because Uncharted was fucking god awful, and that's another franchise that deserved something good.
Yeah.
We got fucked. Where the fuck were you, Druckmann? Because didn't Druckmann work on that too? Where the fuck were you when they were doing this shit? Why didn't you fucking help out with that? Because Druckmann's a big top guy at Naughty Dog. I assume he's fucking got something to do with fucking Uncharted.
I think he's the president of Naughty. I don't think he's even directing games anymore. I think he's kind of moved on to just running the company and doing this. So if The Last of Us Part 3 does happen, which if I were a betting man, I would bet that there is going to be Last of Us Part 3, especially with the popularity of the show now. I don't think he'll be directing a third one. That would be my guess. I think he's stuck with the show for the foreseeable future.
I don't even know what they would do for a Part 3. It's like you left me in a place where I don't really.
I don't want one, but I mean, I'll be happy when it comes. It's like one of those like I don't really want one, but if it comes out, I'm definitely gonna be excited to play it.
It's like the one character I want to play as and continue as is not there anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't care about the new character you introduced, and Ellie is kind of done for me. It's like, what else are you gonna do with her? She'd, give her some other revenge plot. I don't know. It just seems like, but Naughty Dog will probably figure out something if they do it.
I would hope that maybe this is the. I don't know. I felt like number 2. I know you and I may disagree a little bit on this one, but I think Part 2 is better, and I think it's like one of the best games I've played in a very long time. And I'm hoping, but it was so fucking dark. That game is so like depressing and dark, and like it goes to some really crazy places. And I'm hoping if they do a Part 3, that it's a little more hopeful and a little more, but I don't think they will. Give
I think
Ellie a nicer ending, maybe, because we end on like such a huge downer in part two that maybe I don't want to spoil things in the future, but give her some of the things that she lost back. But we'll see.
I think the third game you're Joel, or not Joel, you're Tommy, and it's like the same as two, revenge plot. But this time you fucking do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe Ellie's in there along the way trying to stop you or something because, her experience. But
She
then,
went through it, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Something like that. Yeah, so this show, really awesome, man. I mean, this show wouldn't hit as hard if they would have done this with Resident Evil before this. They've had so much time to do it with Resident Evil. To do an adaptation like this, but of Resident Evil before this came out, then you'd be like, oh, it's just another video game zombie. Resident Evil did it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Resident Evil could have been this big hit just like this if they would have taken it seriously and just followed the fucking games like this did. Like, because that's an amazing story, all sorts of different zombies and intricacies and backstabbing and mysteries, but they didn't do that. So now The Last of Us gets that honor of being the first really awesome, super accurate video game zombie adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
So you fucked yourself out of that.
Any adaptation, not even just zombie. I think any video game adaptation. This is probably, if not, probably the best video game adaptations I've seen. I mean, there's some fun, like Mortal Kombat's a fun, campy, adaptation. But I wouldn't consider it to be a great movie. This is actually like very, very good. I can't think of another video game. I mean, people say The Witcher, but The Witcher's all right. I mean, I don't think Witcher's as good as. Well, we haven't seen all The Last of Us, so I can't say that. But if I'm looking at the first episode of The Witcher and the first episode of Last of Us, I think The Last of Us is stronger. But yeah, man, this may be the best one. And I mean, you've been saying this for a year. I mean, you've been saying it on the show, ad nauseum every time we talk about these adaptations. Is that why don't they just take the fucking story of the game and make that story? And that's exactly what these guys did. And look what happened. I mean, it became the second strongest show in HBO and a 99% Rotten Tomatoes. So it's like, there's something there. So I think you're right about just tell the fucking story of the game in a visual format and you're fine.
Yeah, I think HBO is probably pleasantly surprised. Mm-hmm. I don't think they thought this was going to do Game of Thrones type numbers and be their second biggest. But obviously they gave it enough money that they thought it was going to do something. They don't just give you money.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're ready to cancel big shows. Like they canceled fucking Westworld. They canceled that one that we liked, Raised by Wolves.
Yeah.
And those shows have a lot of money and a lot of fans, but you start to underperform for HBO and you're fucking out.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're pleasantly surprised by this, and so hopefully HBO will be looking through the, digging through the crates, as they say, for like, what's a video game franchise that maybe wouldn't be as expensive to get because it's not PlayStation and Naughty Dog. You just look for these little things no one's touched.
Yeah.
I hope we get some more stuff like that. Pac-Man, the show.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for Mario with Chris Pratt.
Yeah. I don't know, that looks pretty good, man. Yeah. All those trailers look fun. I think that's going to be a good one. I think that's going to make a fucking $1 billion. Illumination. Yeah. I mean, kids are going to love it. And it looks funny. But this, fuck, I don't know, man. It's just the first episode. But I'll give it a 9 because it's good.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And I'm judging.
Yeah,
and I'm judging it on coming from liking the source, and it's super accurate to the source, so that helps the score. I don't know if it's just like if I've never seen The Last of Us, if that's a 9. You know what I mean? It's like I can't judge it without this spot in my mind where I know what Last of Us is.
Yeah, it's hard. You can't. I mean, it's like impossible,
Yeah, I can't watch it as somebody who is coming into this as a TV show only.
Mm-hmm.
But my gut feeling is this isn't a 9 if it's just a television show. I'm rating it a 9 because, oh man, this is really good. They're actually accurate. It's very close to the story. It's the story I love. So it'd be interesting to pick somebody's brain who's only seen this as a TV show and what they thought. I watched it like, oh, I didn't fucking get it. It was
Yeah.
fucking. But for me, yeah, it's a 9.
Yeah, this is also a 9 for me. I was coming in, yeah, exactly 9. It's a great pilot episode. It gets you into the characters and the world. I mean, it has a very good pacing. I was actually surprised by the structure of it because coming into it, I actually expected the show to start in modern apocalypse, and then you kind of slowly over time find out that Joel had a daughter, because that's typically what happens in these kind of, a broken man, but you don't know why. Oh, he had a daughter, and like slowly over the course of time you get flashbacks, and then what's with the Joel's watch? Oh, she had a daughter, gave it to him, little shit like that. I thought they were gonna do that, but the moment it starts with Sarah, I'm like, oh my god, we're just gonna peel the fucking band-aid off. Like, that's cool, all right, just like the game did. So I appreciated that. Yeah, they just stuck with the structure of what the game was.
Yeah.
And they did. There are changes, but they're so subtle and them looking for gun, or them looking for a battery instead of guns. Certain tweaks and additions. I think adds to it, doesn't detract from it. Yeah, I think my only small teeny gripe is what I already said, which is that I wish the reveal of Ellie being immune was held off until the end of the episode, where they scan her and it's red, and then it's a big reveal, like, oh my god. But other than that, yeah, I think Pedro and Bella do a strong job of Joel and Ellie. Everyone does. Visually, it's great. I was kind of concerned when they said The Last of Us show. I'm like, well, Last of Us is a video game. It's an interactive medium. Like, how you're gonna make The Walking Dead? That's what you're gonna make, basically, more or less. It's just another. Why would you go and make another zombie show? It's not gonna really stand out. And I think I was wrong. I think this is another zombie apocalypse show, but I think there's enough different that kind of stands apart from these other contemporary zombie apocalypse type shit. And there's still a lot to cover, and I'm hoping that Bella Ramsey, she nails the snarky attitude of Ellie, the kind of wise ass portion of Ellie. But I'm going to be really curious to see how she handles the heavy stuff, because where we go at the end of The Last of Us, it gets pretty intense and pretty dark and violent. So I'm wondering how she's going to pull that off. I mean, I'm sure she'll be fine, but
Yeah.
we go to some fucking dark territory in the end. But yeah, I can't wait to see everything that happens in the game, which I won't spoil. But I will say the winter portion of the game, I can't wait to see. That's where things get a little dark and crazy. But yeah, I can't wait to see what the clicker is going to look like. There's some intense stuff there in the game. Obviously it's hard to translate that stuff because, again, it's interactive. So it's like playing the game, sneaking around clickers is very intense and anxiety inducing. I don't know how you're going to translate that perfectly into a show. I'm sure it'll be a little intense, but not the same. But yeah, this is a 9 for me. Great setup. Can't wait for more. I wish they dropped it all at once so I could binge all of it. But instead, we have to wait another 8 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, 9s all around. Really awesome. Go check it out. See if you like it. If you've never heard of the video game at all, and if you've played the video game and if you like the video game, I don't see you disliking this. I don't see how you could.
Yeah.
I'm interested to, like, the end, when we get to the end of the show and we get to the why she's there. There was a kind of a retcon in number 2 to add in this character that's a main character in 2.
Mm-hmm.
And how is she connected to 1? I'm interested because the show's probably going to introduce her then, because the first game didn't. They just kind of, well, she was there, and
Right.
here's a flashback to prove it. They kind of just had to add her in. But I'm sure we'll get an introduction to her in the show, which will be interesting.
Yeah.
To see some.
My prediction of the show, because they said they're not going to go past game 2. So my assumption is that season 1 will be the first game. Season 2 and 3 will be part 2 of the game. So we'll split. I imagine season 2 will just be Ellie's side of things, and then season 3 will be Abby's side of things. But that means they're also going to have to recast Bella Ramsey, because you can't have if they're shooting season 2 now or in the next year, I don't think Bella Ramsey's old enough to be where Ellie is in part 2, so they may have to recast her. But yeah, so
Yeah,
I guess
I don't
to
know
your
if that's gonna work, right?
yeah. So I guess to your point, yeah, if they are making more, there's no way they're not going to continue this show with the viewership they're getting. So yeah, it would make sense to introduce Abby in this season to then recast her later on in further seasons to get her kind of
Yeah, you got to at least got to
Right.
like have the doctor maybe talking to her, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Establishing that it's a real loving relationship, and
Yeah.
to them that's the end of the world, right?
hmm
Okay, Abby, go play. Dad's got some things to do. Okay.
Which could make for stronger storytelling. 'Cause
Yeah.
in this, you're not retconning. You are introducing it. So from the show's perspective, it's probably stronger. But yeah, like you said in the game, they kind of just fit in this random character that wasn't really there in the first game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It'll all make sense later, audience. Don't worry. Or if you know, you know. You know what I mean?
swing away,
gotta-
Merle. Swing away. That's all I'm
You
gonna
gotta
say.
know to know, my
Which,
friend.
I don't know if I don't want to spoil things here because there may be some viewers who haven't played these games, but I don't know if you felt this, but as I was watching this episode, I was like, man, I'm not looking forward to when they do some stuff later on, because there's a very, very, very big thing that happens in part 2. That's very hard to watch and very unsettling even to this day. I mean, people probably laugh at it and whatever, but for me, every time I watch it, like my stomach curls and I get like, I don't know, it's a very tough scene to watch. And I'm like, man, just watching this pilot episode, I'm like, I'm not looking forward to that portrayal of what's to come.
Yeah.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, but they could change it.
That's true.
Flip it on its head. This ain't the same, baby. We're like, holy shit. That would be a real twist to everybody. What?
That would be crazy. Yeah. If they don't do that, that would be pretty nuts.
Yeah. But yeah, everybody check it out. 9 all around. We agree so far with the Rotten Tomatoes and all everybody's glowing reviews. So we'll see if it continues down that road, and if by
I
the
should
end of
say,
this,
I'm pretty sure this 99% of Rotten Tomatoes are critics who have seen the whole thing. This isn't
Yes.
99 of just the first episode. It's for the whole
Yes.
the season. So that's pretty strong.
So our 9 is episode 1. I'm sure there's some bangers. Episode 1 is never your banger, dude.
Yeah.
It's usually the slowest and kind of the weakest.
Right. So you're set up.
Or maybe you
episode.
have another weak one in there in the middle when stuff's dragging. But typically you're not like, man, the first episode was the best one.
Yeah.
I've never heard that about a show. So I can't wait. Tonight. Can't wait.
Tonight. Here we
Check out
go.
the new episode tonight. Yeah. So please check us out on Spotify, Apple Music. We on there. We in the audioverse, and we always on here on YouTube in the motion picture verse. We appreciate having you. Please like and subscribe. Please come and hang out and talk and listen to some movie stuff. We'd appreciate it. We'd love to have you here. There's never going to be a day where we run out of movies to review, believe it or not. There's a lot of them, and we keep chipping away. One of these days, we're going to get them all.
Yeah,
So-
we got a new Shyamalan here in 2 weeks. Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to see that, so that'll probably be on the old YouTube and all the others. So, yeah, come join us then. Thank you guys, appreciate it. Till the next V's. That's a peace.
Peace.